Hello.
How are
How
you?
are you, Keith?
I'm doing good, David. It's a real pleasure to meet you today.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
Tony should be jumping on any minute now.
yeah, fantastic, fantastic. Let's wait for him.
Tony,
Hey, Tony,
What's up, man?
how are you?
how you doing?
I'm hitting the coffee pretty hard.
I hear you.
I didn't get
I
home
had
from the
my three
studio till
cups
almost
already.
2 last night.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. All right. Wonderful, brother. We're here. Glad to see you. Thank God we finally got on here.
Yeah,
Been a while.
yeah. So, guys, how are you doing today? I know it's a bit early for you both.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Yeah, doing pretty good, man.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, your new album, Icon of the Accursed, is to be out on July 10. So, would you like to tell me a bit on the songwriting process and the production that goes behind this new album?
I'll be right back. Tony, you can start.
Yeah. So we actually started out trying to do a double album. We were going to do
Oh,
like the good side, the bad side of humanity, and and then so you'd have the angels side and the demon side. And then when we started looking at the good people,
mhm.
just there's a lot of the human condition is so evil that even the good people we found bad stuff in. So we were like, all right, let's just focus on that side. And then we didn't want to make a record of just serial killers because that obviously would be it's macabre and it's interesting, but it's not really what we're going for. So if you'll notice, the serial killers we chose was Jack the Ripper, who was
Yeah.
never caught. Nobody knows who he ever was. And then Jeffrey Dahmer, just because he was probably a story that gripped the nation when we were, kind of in our formative years as well.
Mhm.
So, but we also look at Jim Jones,
Mhm.
who killed 900 people. Genghis Khan killed 11%
Yeah.
of the entire population of the world at the time. So we looked at different aspects of human evil, and it really came easy for the writing because then you could just go, hey, Dave, I need music that does this. I need it to be sleazy or I need it to be sad. And Dave's he's an emotional picture guy. So if you give Dave that picture, he'll come back and give you exactly what you just said in music form. Here, you want sad? Here you go. You want sleazy or evil? Here you go. So
This
it
is
was
how
real
that
easy to
works.
write.
Yeah. We have, Tony and I have had a great working system together since the first record, Destination Aftermath. And we've known each other a long time and played in another one of his bands for a short term, Veilside. So when it was the pandemic time, I was like, I'm writing some music. I think we should finally do something. And one thing about Tony and I and GraveReign, because, he and I are the concept of this, is we will storyboard out what is the theme of the album. Are the music of GraveReign that Tony and I like to do is a story. If you're familiar with Destination Aftermath, there's a story behind every song that flows with that album. When it came time to do the second one, I had mentioned to Tony and I said, well, we got to do a flip side of this, or can it be a continuation? We didn't want it to exactly be a continuation, so we went more for a flip side. And I said to him, what do you think about we write something about real live killers? Not just, psycho killers, anything that would go to that's real, that really happened. And, Tony, what I love about what we do is when I give him an idea, I'll be like, I'm writing this music and I think it'll fit for Genghis Khan. And he'll go, oh, okay. Because I think of who I'm writing about and that music comes to mind. And when I share that with Tony, he'll go out, he'll read like a whole dictionary about the character and really get in his mind. And that's how deep Tony and I work on every song. And it just falls into a story. And then he said to me, well, let's just pick a handful of other ones that would probably fit the suit, but not be the same thing back in Genghis Khan's time. And I mentioned Jack the Ripper, and then he came up with several other ones. And we would talk about what did he do? What was he all about? And that would put his mind into how he would write it. As my mind, he knows where I'm going with the music, and then I would send him little bits and pieces, and then we'd start to mold that, what he's thinking, and then I might change something, or he'd say change this, change that, or I'll go do this with the vocal or that, and it just works together for us. And it's been I'm not going to say the easiest thing in the world, but almost, because we're in each other's minds when we work, and we just flow. And I mean, ideas for the third record are already out there, but we won't give any of those away yet. But this is what this is about. And believe it or not, there's things that this guy, Tony, will go find out about the person or the time of the song that we're writing about that person, things I didn't even know. I mean, he digs in that deep, and it's good because then we really understand who we're singing about, what we're singing about, and know what we're saying is facts or true, or nobody really knows. They never caught Jack the Ripper, and we make that clear in our music, and it's what, you know, we enjoy to do, and that's what GraveReign is. We are a storytelling band.
And the one thing I'm going to add to that, Keith, is that we left a lot of good, and when I say good, I mean we left a lot of big time nasties off the cutting board. You know, like we could have done Vlad the Impaler, we could have done Elizabeth Bathory, we could have done quite a few of these other like David Koresh, because that was more in my lifetime than Jim Jones. But Jim Jones was fascinating because it was the first one, and he killed like 900 people. Koresh, I think it was 80 people that died. You know, so there were a lot of interesting people that we just never got to, because we were like, all right, we got to draw a line somewhere and stop.
It's unfortunate in the world I'll say what he's actually not saying, because I'm that guy. There's too many of those sons of bitches out there and crazy people that we could make 20 albums about that, but we just kept it in what we felt, the ones we wanted to talk about, and in our time that we know of. And these are the guys, are the evil, however you want to look at it, that we came up with to do. And it's no offense to anybody, because there's movies made about these characters, Jack the Ripper, Genghis Khan. So it's not like we did something that wasn't done. We just decided to put it to our crushing progressive metal and melt your face with it. So instead of a Lifetime movie, okay, we're doing it in our music.
Yeah. Oh,
and to be fair, we're not really glorifying anybody on here. We're literally just telling a story. So for instance, Jack the Ripper, which if you've seen the video for it, that is literally about the letter that he wrote to the Central London news agency, taunting the police. He's the first guy to do it. And so I made the letter the pre-chorus in our song. So we literally gave Jack the Ripper a writing credit because he wrote part of the pre-chorus of our song. So
part of his story.
So we wanted to capture the true essence of what made his story so fascinating. And because he was the first public one, in essence, he didn't kill thousands of people. I think he killed 4 or 5. And then I make it seem like that's nothing, but it's compared to the other guys, but his story captivated just because of the uniqueness of it. He literally taunted Scotland Yard by writing
how clever he was to do it. And if you know anything about Jack the Ripper and the story, and those people that are into that, studied it, even the police back then, they were all over the place. Was this guy a doctor, the way that he had murdered women and people? He's so clever. Was he a guy with a lot of money? Why couldn't we catch them? They had all kinds of scenarios going on, and it was all generally within a certain area, and they could not catch this man. So something was good. Either they were as dumb as fuck, these police people, and didn't know what was going on, and this guy outsmarted all of them, or he was one of those police and he knew what was going on before it ever happened. Who knows? That's the mystery. That's what we elevated in the song behind Jack the Ripper. And in the lyric video, you know, we made our point and set the imagery of it back in 1888 with the way it would look at Whitechapel and the State Fair. And a lot of people complimented us on doing that, because if you're going to do something about something that happened then, you got to put yourself in that world. And we did.
Beautiful, beautiful. And speaking on the artwork of the album, an amazingly done work, and I know it connects with the album. So, was there any particular theme or an idea that went behind your mind when you designed the artwork?
Oh, that one, you know, Tony came up with more of the idea of the album cover on that one, because, again, him digging into the stories, and he would run things by me and I'd go, yeah, I like that. Okay, I like that. Let's see what we can do with that. And it was a combination of people. Part of my sister, Barbie Ray, got involved in it, and then our artist guy that did the first Destination. And that one was more kind of Tony's idea, and we went with it and kind of molded it from there. So I'll let Tony take it from there more.
In short on that one, Keith, it's honestly, you see it before you hear it. So the imagery is very important. And I wanted to outline what is the icon of the Accursed. And it's actually that infinity snake that if you open the CD, the snake is the logo. And so the infinity snake is Apep, which is Ra's sworn enemy, and Ra, the sun god. So it was a good symbol for evil. I thought it was fantastic on that front. So we kind of used that as the imagery. And then when we kind of bounced it off Dave's sister, she put together the concept. And then like Dave said, we handed it off to our art guy, and he picked it up from there and just detailed it, brought it to life, really. That statue looks like it's coming alive.
Amazing.
That's the symbol.
Oh,
there it is. There it is.
Great.
Front, back, and we had to bring in, if this can open gently. And all this is, you know, we're really proud of this and the artwork. And then, you know, this guy, Genghis Khan, is under the CD. And then inside, just so the fans know, when they get their copies and they order them, is the actual booklet, like you would do. And you got all the lyrics to the songs, okay? And all the credits to everybody. And then the band on the back, where we brought in some members, Michael, Ray, and Jack, to play with the band live. So there you go.
And then let's not leave out Mickey. Mickey's our beast on bass.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
He's the man. He lives it. Yeah.
He played on some of the first album tracks and more on this one with us. And then we brought in some friends. Jack, who's a good friend of mine, good singer. He does some backing vocals on some of the songs. Now, these guys, you know, are in the band now that we're going to be rehearsing to play out live, but we just wanted to fill out the sound a little bit more live. And I thought bringing in, and everybody that knows me, I'm always my own guitar player in my own band. But when Tony and I thought about what we do on the records and what will work live, we felt it was better to bring some people in we know and have a strong rhythm guitarist that has an excellent voice. Jack does. Mike on drums is an excellent progressive drummer. And Mickey on bass, you know, you just put him anywhere and you'll hear him. He just pounds and he flows. So we felt that would be better. And for both records now, when we do play what we can for live, it'll just be a little bit more rounder frame. Yeah.
Right. And we have a lot more material to choose from, so our show can variate relatively quickly. We have 2 albums to pick from now, so.
Most definitely.
And the first single, Jack the Ripper, as we spoke earlier, is out now with an amazing visualizer. You bring, like you said earlier, you brought Jack the Ripper back into the scene. Like when you go through the visualizer, you feel like that you are in that particular video, and you, it's kind of amazing thing to do. Like I really enjoyed the video and the visualization that you did.
Thank you.
Fantastic work.
Yeah.
I totally loved it. And would you like to tell me a bit on the making of this visualizer?
Well, just like I said earlier, to rewind, when I think about a name or a character, like when I say to Tony, okay, This one, I think what I'm playing really feels Jack the Ripper. This one feels Genghis Khan. And I feed him a little bit of it. Then he'll say to me, let's go with this one. This can be Jack the Ripper. And he starts to dig into his story. And when we agree, and I'm thinking, this is Jack the Ripper, when I'm writing every chord, when I'm writing the verse or a subverse or the chorus section or what I'm doing for the solo, I'm trying to write it in my mind of seeing what this guy was like. So the music fits that character. When you listen to Jack the Ripper and then you listen to Genghis Khan, they're completely different songs, but they're in that same evil sons of bitches that did what they did. And it put my mind into the music, like Tony goes in and digs into the story, the words. So when it comes time for a video, that shouldn't be any less. Like I mentioned to Tony, he goes to our video people, we need to put this back setting in time, the way they dressed then, what it was like back then. And then we would discuss that, and then Tony has a very good way of conveying that to our video people. Tony?
Yeah, that's why I get a microphone for a living. So so we have a guy that was a big fan. He did the Destination Aftermath video, and he said, hey, let me take a stab at this Jack the Ripper video. And so we gave him the song. He had it for a couple of weeks, and he's like, dude, I think I got it. And his original idea was he was kind of on the right track, but obviously we needed to flesh it out a little more. Once we did, though, I mean, this thing came together relatively quickly. And I think he wants to take a shot at the next video. So we'll see if because I don't mind letting that one out of the bag, Dave. We're gonna do Genghis Khan next.
Oh, that's amazing.
That'll be the next one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
he's not a nice guy, or he was not a nice guy. Okay.
is Genghis Khan going to be a visualizer, or is it going to be an official music video kind of thing?
So we're debating about doing another lyric video, or if we actually do like a concept video. But if with something like Genghis Khan, I have a feeling it'll be difficult to get. Like, so if I was doing something more current, so let's say I was doing Escape from the Oxford Apartment, which is Dahmer, might be able to like use some news footage or something and
right.
in the video to kind of convey that message. Genghis was well before that, so if we're going to do Genghis, it would probably have to be closer to a more traditional lyric video. But we would obviously want the imagery to be, convey the power that this guy had.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I had the pleasure to listen to the album in its entirety, and I have to say, 12 amazing songs, great progressive, heavy walking album. Thought from the start, when opening with Genghis Khan, and each and every song is beautifully done. And Tony's vocals are mind blowing. And you guys are legends, man. I totally love you guys. So from each and every song for this album is totally amazing works from you guys. I love the vocals, the musicianship, and overall the outcome is awesome.
Thank you.
So thanks to you guys for putting up an amazing album this year. And I have to say, when comparing to your previous album, this is again topping that one. I believe this will again reach the top, and this is going to be one of the best albums again. So as a creator and the maker of the music, how do you guys feel about the outcome?
So the first album, David, this was the first time Dave and I had written together. So it's kind of a learning curve. We're putting our stuff together. Dave and I had jammed together, like he said, he was in my band for a while because we had lost our guitar player. So Dave was waiting for his album to come out and said, hey, I'll jump on with you guys for a bit. So, and we had a pretty busy summer schedule. So Dave played with my band, and then, we'd always kicked around the idea of writing. So the pandemic kind of brought it full circle, because then we had nothing to do but time. So we started writing together, and we learned a little bit about each other in terms of an approach, how to attack. And I'm not even kidding when I tell you the first song that we did, Dave must have gave me 11 minutes of music that I cut down to 7.5. And I told him, give me more than I need. I can always cut it, then versus coming back to you and asking you to add. And I think the only thing I came back to,
that was just the intro. Remember we were joking around. That's just the intro.
So I had asked Dave for an acoustic solo, and you know, because we're trying to different approaches on that song, and so now I kind of knew what we were doing, and Dave basically sat down when we were getting ready to storyboard this record and said, "Hey, how do you want to break that sound? We already kind of we've developed our sound. Let's take it in different directions." So we changed the tune. Like I think we're in B for a couple of songs. We hadn't been tuned that far down. I think Dave broke out the 7-string a little more on this one. Yeah. So we did definitely take different approaches to the writing, and I'll be honest, I fell in love with Dave. Bought a guitar with an Evertune bridge on it. I think that's the first time you'd done that one on.
The first time I did it because I wanted something in the studio non-tremolo, and I was intrigued by how this Evertune worked. And I used to endorse ESP for 16 years, many years ago. So I got a 7-string, and it had the pickups I use, 81, 85, 707s. And I said, I'm going to try this. And I bought it for myself for my own birthday get present. But it was for me and Tony. And when I got it, I'm so glad I did, because I'll tell you, you cannot knock that thing out of tune when you understand how to use it. But the point was, it just sounds tremendous, and I had to use it with all my other Viper guitars as well. Go ahead, Tony, continue.
Great recording guitar, but since we'd already established kind of how we were going to work, we already knew what we were doing. Dave knows he's going to send it to me, and he's going to get it back, usually in what I call the watermelon track. So it's just melodies. It's not real words. It's gibberish. He doesn't even know what the heck I'm saying half the time. I'm just going, hey, this is kind of what I'm feeling for that melody. And that allowed the writing to come together. I don't think we even had one discussion of changing much. Dave might go, hey, dude, take that note up at the end, or take that note down at the end, that kind of thing, if he's hearing something. But other than that, I mean, the approach was even easier than the first record, because we already had done this one.
We had already established our template, and we knew how we were working together, and we discussed the next album. Tony and I'll get on the phone. We'll be on for 2-3 hours just discussing concepts, what we want it to be about, certain songs. And as we talk, our ideas will come, and I'll know, well, when I do this song, this is definitely 7-string on my Viper Dragon DS7, or it's going to be, this one's going to be the Viper DS6, full step down, drop C. The music just starts to come to me. And since we've done an album already, it starts to pull me in the direction already. Like, oh, well, that's definitely a 7-string, or that's definitely a 6-string. And then I asked him, I said, you want to try something? Okay. And this is a funny story, and I'll let him come in where I messed this up. I said, let's do something a 1 full step and a half lower. Let's do drop B, because he wanted this sexy, kind of heavy, but powerful rhythm. So I said, well, I'll go down to drop B. And he said this name of the song, and I kept going, what? What are you saying? So I think hold the door, hold the roar. I was like, what are you saying? So I just called it hold a whore, okay? Because I couldn't pronounce the word. Tony, tell him that what happened now with it.
So it's the Holodomor, which is the Ukrainian famine. When China went from their earlier government to their first communist government, they took everybody out of the field and put them in the work in the factories, and then went, oh my God, we didn't make enough food. And China suffered the losses. They lost like 20 million people, but that's not evil. That's just bad planning. Whereas the Russians did the same thing and then went, oh my God, we don't have enough food. Let's take Ukraine's. And that's kind of how that comes across. So the Holodomor, the Russian government doesn't really recognize it, but you ask any Ukrainian out there, but right now they'll probably tell you all about it. So, but we did that. That was a darker. Dave was like, I'm going to take that all the way down to B, and we're just going to make it darker. And honestly, it grooves. It really does kind of hit a pocket. I find myself jamming that in the car.
Yeah. It wasn't because, like, some bands tune down lower because of the vocals or anything. We already had that covered. When he said to me what he was looking for in a groove, I knew, I think I'm going to go 1 step lower just to be slightly different than the other songs in tuning, because I have so many guitars for different tunings, because I do a lot of guest solo work. I went, let's throw this one a little to the left. So I gave him a little bit of it, and he was like, yeah, this is groove, this tempo's, what it is. And then as time went on, we just kind of, the Hunger, I think was a name, an alternate name, like P.S. the Hunger, kind of thing. Because I was never going to say that name right. Okay. I had every name I came up with, filthy or not, never the one he wanted to call
And to
it.
be fair, I think that's what that translates to. The Holodomor translates to the hunger. I think
The Hunger.
it's.
So I always just call it the
Ukrainians listening
Hunger.
to this, let me know.
I found that word to be much easier to say, whatever. So there you go.
Cool. And July 10th, are there some big plans for the day of the release?
Yeah. Well, we're going to have more lyric videos coming, but we're also looking forward to starting rehearsals and promoting playing out live. And there's other surprises that come along the way that we will put out there, and we can't give everything away now, or then it's not a surprise.
But we've been in regular contact. Dave lives in Milwaukee, by the way, and I'm suburbs of Chicago. So, but we're in regular contact. We kind of go, okay, I've got this going on because Dave's a pretty busy guy. He runs the Milwaukee Music Academy. He's got other bands that he plays in as well. So do I. So because we're both just musicians, we're just both music fans too. So I mean, I listen to a little bit of everything, and with probably the exception of country, but
That's his favorite. Don't let him bullshit you.
but because we're both music fans, we are constantly a lot of things in the air at the same time. So it's a matter of let's let hey, Tony, I might be on the road this week. All right, well then let's try and move the rehearsal schedule back, to accommodate. And Mickey's in another band, so is Mike and Jack. So at least everybody else has got other stuff, but we've all come together for this project. There's a good commitment level to it, so we're excited to see how we can translate some of this stuff to live. That's obviously the one thing I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
That's the idea why we talked and said, let's bring Mike in on drums, and let's bring Jack in. They rehearse in my sister's house in the basement. That's right where we're going to be rehearsing. So everybody's kind of got one place to go to for two bands and make it work out like a family. Like a family. What has happened over time, some people have said, is GraveReign a project band? Well, I went through some health issues earlier on and got all that worked out. And there was other bands and touring I did. And Tony had stuff he was doing in bands. Now we've got 2 records. So we've got enough material. I feel the right guys in the band live to sit down and pick what's the best. It's one thing to pick what's the best of the best 2 records, number one. And any musician that's professional that has toured will tell you this. But what's the best to pick that fits the band and who's in it and what translate live the best. I'm excited, and Tony is, for us to get to that level very, very soon and start, building the live band to perform and crush and melt faces and destroy. That's what we're going to do.
Amazing. But
Yeah.
are there some concrete plans now for this year to go on a touring?
I think we're gonna do some experimentation on it. So we're gonna definitely do, get the rehearsals going, and we'll probably just stay local for a little bit. We want to develop aspects of the live show. These are pretty, like Dave said at the beginning, our songs are generally storytellers. So what kind of visual aspects can we now add to this to enhance the show experience? We want the show. I don't want you to come to GraveReign and go, yeah, they rocked. I want you to come and go, I was blown away. So Dave and I are looking at different aspects on how to approach the visual aspect of this. Now we know it sounds incredible. Now we got to make it visually appealing. We run a lot of, I did a lot of stuff through non-music sounds. Like for instance, on Follow the Leader, that's Jim Jones. I literally combed the entire tape that he did where the 45-minute, they call it the death tape. We used aspects of that in the song. And, how much of that do we bring into the live performance? Does it take anything away? Is it distracting, or is it necessary to tell the story? So Dave and I are literally going to try and experiment that before we kind of go, hey, let's take this out on the road. We'll probably start with just some local shows in our area, either Chicago, because Dave's actually from our area, even though he's up in Milwaukee now. So, we're friends, good friends with a Freak, who's a radio DJ out in our area that we absolutely adore. And so I think we're going to probably start with him. If we don't, I think he'll throw something at us, Dave. So.
Right, exactly. That's for sure. And like Tony just said, these are concept songs. It's not radio songs. 2.5, 3 minutes of that. And what our album cover represents, what the music represents, the time that Tony and I put together to write the music, to make it happen, with the help of our engineer, Joe, who's phenomenal. And he's like another member of this band, hands down. Is now that we have 2 records done and we're finally ready to go, okay, is the universe going to work with us here and we can have rehearsals? It's more than just, okay, 1, 2, 3, play the song. It's what songs, how we're going to play them, and developing, like he said, are we using audio stuff of the real Jim Jones talking and speaking? Will that work? If we take it out, are we losing that aspect of the magic that's on the record? There's a big difference between that. And that's why this takes such a long time. And rehearsing is one thing, and then working on the visual, like he said, playing locally gives us a chance to go, well, let's try this and see if it works, if we like it, and get some feedback from our friends and fans and club owners. That will also help set the template for the direction to go, well, that seemed to work, that didn't, this did, that did. All that's important to us, to the people that love us and we love, and that understand what GraveReign is all about and what we're trying to do. So that's really the next step in the live application. It's not just one thing. It's a couple of layers of things to get that, like, well, what I just heard was I just went and saw these 2 records, this one and the other one, live right in front of me, and it was tremendous. Not just the song, and they go, where was the other stuff? Well, I was missing this and that. That's what you got to be careful for.
Yeah, and that's literally where that's gonna be more of a feeling out process. Obviously, we brought in Jack, who is gonna be playing rhythm guitar and doing some backing vocals, because I like to layer the crap out of stuff. And Dave, as fast as he plays, he can't play both parts at the same time. Not yet.
Not yet. Some stuff I can on classical guitar, but not these songs.
So, but ultimately, just determining, what parts are going to be done, and who's going to do what and how we approach it. And I think that once we get through that aspect, we'll take it out, test it, let fans kind of hear it and go and get their feedback, because those are the guys that we're asking to flop down the money to come see this. So I have a feeling that after a couple of shows, we'll have this ironed out, and we'll be able to kind of put together a realistic approach, probably going into next year, and we can actually target some stuff that makes sense for GraveReign on a go forward basis. Dave and I literally have already started kind of storyboarding out the 3rd record. We already know what the concept is going to be. But we just wanted to make sure that, hey, let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's make sure we can play what we've got live first. So we're going to go that route, and, maybe start at some point next year, because it does take a while. I think, how long were we in the studio for this record, Dave? Maybe 2.5?
Yeah, probably. 2? Yeah. A little shorter than the first one, because we had already, like I said, built the template and we knew where we were going. And then, so that worked out a little bit shorter, but it's for us, the good thing about working together so well with Tony and I and this GraveReign is that we've spent time together before, and that we talk, we map out, we study, we investigate. So once we start rolling, we roll, and we're rolling into our own story. And that's why I think it took a little bit less of time. If it would have took any longer, it would have been because the studio was booked and we couldn't get in,
Right.
And And we do a lot of work back and forth that I send him tracks on in bits and pieces, actually through the phone. And then once I get it all together and he's going where he's going, then I find the exact tempo, lay it up in my recording studio, and start laying down, track by track and feeding it to him. And, and then we build the mountain together from there. And on the records, I play everything, all the guitars, all the bass, all the solos. I generally start off with drum programming, and that's only the drums, just to give the drummer the idea of kind of where I'm going. And then Tony and our engineer and the drummer can go, okay, let's try this, try that. That way I'm handing over something to Tony to sing to more, that here's all the guitars, here's all the bass, here's the layers, here's all my harmonies, here's, and he'll get one version without me talking. Then he'll get another version of me at least saying the parts. Intro, now first verse, sub-verse, chorus. So, and he'll already know by hearing it, but when he gets it that way, it really gives him from beginning to end what I'm calling the parts. Then he can pull up the version without me talking, and then he starts writing the story in. And I think there's very few times Tony said, I want to extend the intro, or we're just going to shorten this because it made sense to the particular song. Other than that, when he and I talk about the song and what it's going to be, I just write it enough to go, well, if it's a little bit more, that's better than less. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And are there any merchandise in work for the fans? Are you making something special?
I got that one. So we definitely have some unique merch ideas that we're going to put together. They're going to be like show only. So you can buy a t-shirt on our website, but we're going to have certain shirts that you can only get at the live shows. So I can tell you that if anybody has seen the first album, Dave's Dragon on the guitar, that's Fafnir. We're definitely going to do a Fafnir shirt at some point, and we'll probably end up doing a Genghis Khan shirt at some point. And those will be show exclusives. And unique merch ideas are the real name of the game. They really, the more unique stuff that you have, it lets you stand out from the other bands. Everybody's going to have a CD and everybody's going to have a T-shirt. There's
put this on a T-shirt right here, okay? That'll be on a T-shirt because that's on the first record. Can you see that? Yes. Fafnir the Dragon. There you go. That'll be on a T-shirt in Genghis Khan. You can only get that at the show, baby. It's okay. Come on into the show. Come see Dave. We'll take care of you.
Hey, Keith, and in terms of other like unique merch ideas, like Dave works with Viper Guitars, and that's who designed that Fafnir guitar. He actually has a mini of that as well. And, that's kind of a big thing with a lot of the musicians. The mini guitars. They're really something to sit on a shelf. But if we can, we're hoping to get more of those. Because I think that's a prototype for Dave. But once we get more of those, we'll probably have those at our merch table and just different.
Yeah, I was going to say, once we get rolling, Tony's right. Once we get rolling, things like the mini guitars, people will be able to get those through the site and directly to the guy that builds them. I've been talking to him about doing it because a lot of fans have come to me and went, where did you get that? Who made that? And I discovered this gentleman online, but that's something I'm working on with him, just like I've had my own line of hot sauce for over 8 years now. So these are things people can buy on the website, our t-shirts, stickers, the albums, Veilside CDs, all 3 DSG CDs, my FireRock CD, other stuff. And then there's other things we're bringing in merch. Yep, out to Gus for that. Then there will only be stuff you can get at the show. So all this will come along and be known as the band's rehearsing and we get ready to play out.
Amazing. Amazing. And speaking on GraveReign, you have Destination Aftermath, and now you have Icon of the Accursed. And how do you guys feel about this beautiful journey of GraveReign?
Well, like I said, it's really just been an extension from the first album to the second. I mean, obviously, he and I kind of picked up where we left off. There you go.
There you go.
There's Destination
Right
Aftermath.
there. Here's what I have to say about it. right here, okay? If you're into true metal, progressive, epic, symphonic metal with massive melodic shred guitar and crushing vocals, CD1, CD2. Get your copy. Very simple. Go to our website and it's available. There you go. Shameless plug, but there you go.
Awesome. And any highlights with GraveReign that you want to share with me today?
Well, like you said, we just got the first physical product in. We're about to get ready to start shipping that out. Thanks to everybody who took part of our pre-sale, because without you guys, that helps us get off the ground even faster.
That's right.
So we're about getting ready to ship all that stuff out. So we're excited, and then the rehearsals start soon, and then we'll get to work on making sure that we can present this in a live atmosphere. So
that's
we're very
the next
excited.
step.
Yeah, we're very excited. Thanks to Tom Collier and the team over at FireRock Music Group, who we signed with earlier this year. They're
Thanks to our manager, John Pettigras. John Pettigras, our manager, who set all that up for us as well. Oh, yeah. Also, all the fans that have followed me and Tony throughout our careers that have been by us in all the different bands we've been in. You know, this is just something that is really easy for, not too easy, but easiest for Tony and I to do. That template we set works, and we don't need to change it. And like he said earlier, we're already knowing what we're going to do for the third record, but we got two now that we're ready to shove down everybody's throat, and we're excited to start working on the live show and the aspect of that. And once we can get to that point, lyric videos are great, and eventually we can shoot a band video. That's talked about being done as well, but one step in the template at a time. But it's coming. Guaranteed it's coming.
Awesome. And with the full lineup of band as GraveReign now, are there plans to focus more on GraveReign in the coming years, or what is your plan for GraveReign now?
Well, so Dave, like I said, Dave and I do have other projects that we work on, but the real goal is to kind of just seamlessly integrate this to what we're already doing. So one of the things that Dave and I have really started doing is if you go to like he said earlier, if you go to the GraveReign website, you can buy Dave's other projects on there. You can buy my other project. I was in Veilside for many years, and so we sell that right on there as well. So it's kind of like Dave and I just kind of combined our libraries, if you will, and just made them available for everybody. And it's really integrating GraveReign into that aspect, because he's already doing work with, Dave's already doing work with the Wings of Destiny. That album just came out. So it's really just pulling it in and integrating it to what we've already got going on. And I don't want it to sound like it's a backup plan. It's certainly not. But, obviously, making the time for 5 guys gets very difficult when it's hard enough to get 2 guys in the same room sometimes.
Right. That's very true, but we make it happen, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. Like I said, we got a central low place where everybody can get to, and we're very excited to get going on that. And once we do, videos will come out of us talking about rehearsals, keeping people updated onto how things are going, what's coming up next. But right now, it's about this new baby right here. This is on FireRock Records, Jack the Ripper video, next one coming, Genghis Khan. Again, not a nice guy either. He is not your friend. He was not anybody's friend. And there's some people I want to say that'll be, and Tony has good answers to this too. Why did you guys write about all those killers? Like we said earlier, because it really happened, and we can. And that's the deal. We can, not just a movie, Lifetime movie. These things really happen. Not fictional stuff, which is great, and we all like that, and it's wonderful. This is really stuff that people did, and it's been out there even before us. We just put it in our music and made it our story the way we tell it. So there you go.
And to elaborate on Dave's point there, the first album, Destination Aftermath, is a fictional second Civil War, if you will. And so that we had already done the fictional. Let's tell a story. So this one we wanted to focus on the aspects of the fact that this stuff really happened. It's mind blowing. Sometimes the truth is even wilder than fiction. So
that's true. That is right.
And finally, any message for the GraveReign fans around the world?
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
First
We don't
of all,
exist without you guys, and we know this.
that's right. Thank you for sticking by us, being there with us from the first album to the second one, and believing in our music and what we do, and we love you for that. And there's a lot more to come. Keep an eye out on our social media pages, you know, GraveReign on Facebook, and our website, gravereignband.com, and all kinds of updated news coming. And get the record. If you haven't heard us, check us out. Okay? I think you'll dig it. If you don't come again. It's okay. There's always be somebody there that will. So it's all right.
Oh, awesome, cool. And David and Tony, I want to thank you both so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have you on the show. A real pleasure to meet you. And I want to thank you so much for GraveReign and the new upcoming record. Like I told you earlier, a fantastic work from you guys. I totally love it. And once it is out on July 10, I know a lot of people are going to fall in love with this new album. And I wish you all the best. And we are really hoping to see you guys on the road.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Hey,
We really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks for David.
Thanks for doing what you do, buddy. We appreciate that.
Hail and shred on.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Take care and have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.
You too.
Thanks, guys.